Gotcha! Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about Lord Zeitunia. He is a lord that founded the Caku faith, and as we all know, we're all Mazdaks because of Lord Zeitunia. But let's just see how it all started. Who is Lord Zeitunia? Part 1, his mission. In the Autherens, there are many prophets of God. Lord Zeitunia, or Zutunbarg, is the last of all the prophets of Autherensia. He ended the age of Aventus Yesum and began the age of modernity through his introduction of the Caku faith. For many years, the people of the Caku Islands have wanted to be like their kinsmen in the north. For thousands of years, their kinsmen had a proper faith in Shatal, in God, through the prophets that they had, beginning, of course, with the prophet Amdal. Yagorzianism, which was a powerful religion that called the universe to work for these Caku kinsmen in the north, was the pride and joy of that place. However, the Cakus were still without much direction and guidance. They needed a prophet of their own. Then, at a time when Cakus were beginning to flirt with Authorential Christianity, Christianism, and Muscatatism, the religion of the East, came a man who would change the destiny of the Cakus and bring them a pride of place and time. This man was called Zeitunus Bargus by his father, a Romanoi senatoria of the time, or soldier. By the people of his mother's side, the Cakus, he was simply called Zutunbarg. So that's why you have Zeitunia and you have Zutunbarg. One is his father's people calling him, the other one is his mother's people calling him. Zutunbarg grew up with a mixture of religions and philosophies. He did not believe in the existence of God as espoused by traditional society, nor by the Romanois. One day he found out that God had a special mission for him and the Cakus. He had to write a book called the Book of Leadership, or Mazdak. In this book he would teach how man can be the leaders of their own spiritual destiny. In order to get the writing of this book going, he had a vision whereby he needed to leave the country and go for a long walk to the southern states, where he will receive enlightenment. His disciples and followers followed him all the way to the south. On the way to the south, many Authorential Muslims were being persecuted by their fellow religionists, who termed themselves Husseinu, or followers of the Prophet Hussein, who had rejected the Quran as being the truth for Authorential Muslims. So with their prophet, Syed, the Muslims followed Zutunbarg on his journey away from persecution. As they arrived in the city of Samverno in the far south, Zutunbarg was given the title Lord Zeitunia after he was brought to the awareness that prior to his birth he was a heavenly consort whose coming to the world would bring peace and harmony to the concoctions of religious diversities found here. He was thus enlightened and given the second task to free the southern island of Kaara from the witch. Ever since the beginning of time, the witch Santoik Puana had poisoned the world with evil, and her dominions were places. Her dominions were places. Her dominions were places where humans could not live in. For eons, the continent of Turawang was the only place that humans could expand. However, as Lord Zeitunia crossed the Sea of Kalsha, he florified the island through his first death. From then on, the Lord Zeitunia would die and rise to new life every day. His bedchamber was a tomb. As his followers went across the sea to visit the new florified island, free from the witch, they brought with them the new teachings of their new religion, Cakuism. One of the teachings was the eradication of false faith. It says in Mazdak 5, chapter 5, verse 1 to 8. Verse 1 is, "Many religions claim to be true but are not free. 2, they are not free because they force people to accept a truth. 3. In order not to fall into this trap of absolute truth, as espoused by all religions, we must be free and open to accept other teachings and evolve. 4. You are not a true Caku, believer, if you hold on to your faith indefinitely. 5. Hence you must become another, each year striving to realize the complexities of this world. 6. Endure another faith and adhana for 1 year, only to return to the state of being Caku when there is a call to menzabit, or pilgrimage. 7. This way you will fulfill the teaching of sacrificing what you most hold dear in conjured faith for another, adhana, until reuniting with your true calling as a spiritual cultivator to climb the ladders of leadership of Mazdakud. 8. In this sense, you must leave your religion behind and become another for a full year, until you are called back to true faith at the time of pilgrimage. In this sense, you will never feel that others are wrong or to be blamed, because you would have walked in their shoes, smelt with their noses, listened with their ears, and touched with their hearts. Who are you to judge those who are alike to you? Who are you to hate those that you yourself understand? Hence there is no compulsion to forced faith. And that is the teaching of Zeitunia, the teaching of the last prophet of the Autherens, and of the book of Mazdak. And there's more to come up about his teachings, especially about adharnas. You know, we can take certain adharnas here and certain adharnas there, and it's good to apply this in real life here. You know, we should all practice a bit of Cakuism in our life. You know, give the other person a benefit of the doubt. You know, I meant to not cause a lot of religious upheavals, a lot of problems in the world. As you can see, if religious extremists were willing to be Caku and take up an adharna in their opposing religions, they will realize why certain people believe the way they believe. Most of all, it's not to give up God's presence when there are conflicting arguments, but it's to understand in diversity how all of it comes together and how you can grow in Mazdakud and how you can grow with the love of the universe and of God. For all of those pursuing this Mazdakud and pursuing a spiritual identity and pursuing this eclectic identity, this growth in spirituality, may the Lord be with you always, and may Shatal rule in your lives as you wish him to and as you want to use him in your life. And may the divine energy, Divina Powerum, be with you always and in us guide you. Thank you and good night.